Well, what's going on, my man?
Just chilling. I got cleaners on my house today. I forgot I had come clean the house.
This is in Nashville, right?
Yes.
Nashville. Now, Nashville's a great city. I lived there for like about 3 years, man. What's your favorite part about Nashville?
I feel like for me, it's just the fact that there's always something to do, even if it's like something small, even if it's like just a small get together with friends or going to dinner, shows, concerts, movies. If you really want to go out and go to the craziness of Broadway, you can. You could go to like speakeasies and where it could be quiet. And so there's a lot of different levels. And but either way, you could still have a good time regardless.
I think my spot when I was in Nashville was always BB King's down on Broadway, off Broadway. That was my spot, BB King's on a Friday, Saturday night, the house band. Like they used to jam.
Yeah.
So I like live music. I like places like that. So Nashville was good for live music. Painter's Alley, that was always a good little spot down there.
Yeah, there's constant live music everywhere. Any restaurant, any bar, even at the airport, there's live music literally everywhere. So it's unavoidable.
I'm always kind of in and out of Nashville. Nashville's one of my favorite cities.
And
I mean, you go to Nashville, it's cranes up. I mean, they're building so much stuff.
Yeah, if you go on that street from 12 South, it goes all the way down to the Gulch. There's construction going all the way down the street, and then off on little streets, there's construction. So yeah, there's constant stuff going on right now. And then the Gulch is just a never-ending cycle of construction and people walking around. It could be Monday, like it could be right now. I guarantee you go in the Gulch right now, there are people walking around, taking pictures, out eating, having a good time. It's just it's never ending.
Did they ever finish the construction on like 440? Like they've been doing construction on 440 seems like 10 years.
No. To be honest. Even if it's like not them trying to build something new, they're always trying to fix what's wrong with it. If it's potholes, if it's fixing the lines, if it's whatever, I feel like there's always some sort of traffic.
Right. Yeah, Nashville, like the traffic is hard to navigate in Nashville because it's not like being in a major city where traffic's all the time.
Yeah.
But traffic can be unexpected. It can be 3 o'clock, it can be 12 noon. Yeah. It just happens. Like all of a sudden you're driving along and then bam, you're just stuck in traffic and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, if you're going anywhere north or south and it's like 2:30, maybe 3 to like rush hour, it's going to be packed because obviously everyone travels into the city to work and they leave. So then going north or south is literally standstill traffic every day at like 3 o'clock. And it makes no sense to me, but it's like clockwork every single day.
So why did you make Nashville home as of right now? Why is Nashville home?
I had never been out here before until I'd been to Memphis. That was about all the experience I had when it came to Tennessee. But Nashville, I had never been here until the summer of 2021 after my rookie season. And after a rookie season, we lost to Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game, went back home to Iowa and was home chilling. But then, of course, I was sitting watching them win the Super Bowl. And I was just like, there's no way we lost to that team. And I immediately got back to working out and whatnot and was training and stuff. But obviously in Iowa, that's February, cold. So like, you get kind of a limited experience. You can't really go outside. You can't really run routes. Everything's indoors. So it was limited. And I was just, again, rookie season, you're used to college where you have like winter conditioning and spring ball. So then for the NFL, you're kind of just off on your own. And they're just like, well, stay in shape, stay healthy, and we'll see you back in March or April. So I kind of didn't really know what to do as far as like training and what I should be doing, when I should like be reaching my peak, how I should be taking care of my body, like what I should be doing to like kind of regain strength and all that stuff from the season. So I hit up my teammate, Rob Tunyon. He was my teammate at Green Bay. And I texted him and I just asked him just straight up, like, what should I be doing right now? Like, I actually have no idea what I should be doing, what I should be working on, if I should be lifting heavy, if I should be more just trying to gain mobility and kind of get ready for like a long off season leading up to camp and so on. And he was like, yeah, no, I get it. I felt the same way. So he was just like, yeah, how about you just come out here to Nashville? because he knew I was in Iowa. So he was like, why don't you just come out here to Nashville? It's me, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, a bunch of other guys who are also in the NFL who are also training. We have chefs and we have PTs and we have a strength coach, a guy who does like our field work, our running routes and stuff. He's like, yeah, just come out here, work out with us. You'll be around us. You'll have everything you need. And of course, Nashville's a good time. I was like, okay, like say no more. Like that's perfectly fine with me. So then I started coming out here just in the off season. And then, I started doing a little bit of calculation. I'm like, it's going to be cheaper if I just move out here versus doing the Airbnb route. Because, I mean, yes, you don't have to worry about furniture and all that stuff, but you constantly have to move like on a monthly basis. And it's the same. It's honestly more expensive than rent. So I was just like, you know what? I'm already out here all the time. I've kind of created somewhat of a second family out here with friends. So I just decided I already had all my stuff in my truck. Me and my truck go everywhere. And I already had all my stuff in my truck. So I just found a place, talked to my parents. We discussed a couple places, what would be a good fit for me. So I'm not going, what do they call it? They call it, so I'm not house broke or house, whatever they call it. So we found a place, and that essentially I've moved out here full time this January.
Okay.
And just been training and staying ready.
Tight end you, hanging out with tight end you.
Yeah, I've gone every year since 21.
Right.
No, went to college with George. So
do they do that in Nashville?
Yeah.
You brought up an interesting point. You're hanging out with TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle's obviously, guys that are very successful, got great career, Pro Bowls, all that. But how do you manage the expense of what they're doing, their routine, managing it? How did you manage that?
So obviously when it came to like the extra expenses, because they're doing PT like every day and chefs every day, every meal of every day, and the cryos and the acupuncture and all the extra stuff. Like I understood that they were on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to what they could spend to putting on their body. For me, I would go train as far as like field and strength stuff. I got really close with Chef Dave, who was cooking for us. So he would just give me like a bundle of meals and be like, just pay me whatever you think it was worth. And I'd give you like 2-3 meals a day. Or if I'm cooking, I'll literally just drop off some meals at your house. And then when it came to like taking care of my body, I kind of was blessed on my own because I had like the Game Readies, the Normatex, the H Waves. So I kind of understood how to take care of my body from a little bit of knowledge that I gained from school and everything. But then obviously if like I really needed something taken care of, like if I felt a tweak or anything, that's when I would go seek like a actual physical therapist or anything. So I had my ways of going about it. Obviously I was going to train regardless, but it's really like the extra stuff that's on top, the chefs and the PTs and the masseuses and the cryotherapies and the what's it called, the IVs and all that stuff. Like I only did that stuff like when it was absolutely necessary. Otherwise I'm cooking for myself. I'm taking care of myself because I know like I don't have the $8 million, $9 million, $10 million a year that they got. So I mean I want to train with them, but I also have to spend money. Train like I'm one of the best tight ends in the league, but spend money like you said, like I'm still fighting for a roster spot.
Right. Yeah, and then that's a point. Like as a coach, you always talk about the rookies. You can't do what everybody else is doing. Like you don't make that type of money. So you gotta hustle. You gotta get it every day, but you gotta get it in a different way. Yeah. You can't go out to the club and buy the bar and buy shots and drinks for everybody. Yeah. No, you can go out and have your drink, but like you got to drink on your own tap. You know what I mean? Like you can't drink, Moet and all that stuff. You got to go get some vodka. Get your old regular vodka cranberry.
Yeah. There wasn't many sections being bought. We'll do that if it's a special occasion. Like otherwise, I'm with the common folk. We're just just hanging out. We're bumping shoulders with everybody else. We're just having a good time. Otherwise, we're not doing the bottles of champagne and sparklers. We'll save that.
So how was TJ? Because you guys were in division. You're in Green Bay. He's in Minnesota. How was he about sharing information, trying to help you grow as a tight end, knowing that this could come back to bite me? We play you guys twice a year, and typically we're playing for the division at the end of the year.
Yeah, at that time he was actually Detroit, but I mean, still same thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but I mean, it was more us, everyone just trying to get better. I feel like that's what was so different about everyone out here and like kind of the tight ends in general is like, yeah, we could be playing each other, but at the same time, like the main focus is we're all out here trying to get better and better each other. So they're just taking little nuggets from George and TJ, who I've played against and played with. So they're more than welcoming to give like information just to try to push forward the game, because that's really the message that they kind of push forward with tight end U, with being out here training. They're more so just, I just want to help. I just want to give back. I just want to give back knowledge. I just want to be able to push forward the sport. I want to be able to push forward the position of being a tight end, realizing that we're more than just blockers. We're more than just stick runners and basic runners. Like we could do the entire route tree just like a receiver can. So in that mindset, they're more than welcoming to kind of push forward everybody else for the greater good of the tight end position, which is great because I got to ask them a lot of questions that, you know, you don't really get from a tight end coach, because not all tight end coaches play tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they've seen it from their own perspective. They've done it. They've experienced it. They've tried this, they've tried that. They know what works versus this coverage versus that coverage versus this type of linebacker versus this type of defensive coordinator. So when you kind of are learning from not only a person who does what you do but does it at the highest level, like their biggest thing is, I just want to help you be better. They know that I was coming with a genuine, like I wasn't coming to like just work out just to take the pictures or just to be around, or who could I potentially brush shoulders with. Like they knew that I'm out here to really get better, and I really want to be one of the best tight ends and push my game forward so I can play as long as I can. So I feel like with me coming at it, looking at it at the right angle and just trying to learn from the best, like they were more than happy to give me any knowledge I asked for.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important. You brought up a point. I think it's important that you have coaches that have played a position in certain places. But quarterback, you know, when I hired my quarterback coach, it was a guy that played quarterback. You know, because I may know where to go with the football, and I can tell him, hey, you're supposed to go here, you're supposed to hit the hitch versus this coverage. But I don't know what it's like to have pressure of an 8-man blitz, you know, 7-man blitz coming right at me. I got a free runner. How do I deliver the ball? How do I fall? All the intangibles that come with a certain position. I think it's really important that you brought up that. How was George? Now, George's an Iowa guy, so you're an Iowa guy. Did you know him before you guys started working out?
When I went to Iowa, I went there 2016 to 2019. So I knew George, I knew TJ, I knew Noah Fant. So like we all went to school together. I played receiver back then, but we all still like hung out. We played together. So I mean, yeah, that was another reason for me coming out here, is because I'm like, okay, there are familiar faces in George and TJ and guys that I have a little bit of commonality with, some camaraderie with already. So I'm not just completely coming out to Nashville and I don't know a single soul. Like even that first year, like TJ and I would hang out on the weekends. Like we would go over to TJ's house, play bags, hang out. We would go to the movies. We'd go to George's house and just chill and play Frisbee golf or golf on his little putt green that he's got connected to his turf football field. So I mean, it was fun. The fact, like, I know I'm going to get extremely good work and I'm going to get better and I'm going to brush shoulders with some of the best tight ends to play this game. But also I'm out here with guys that I can trust, that I know well, and that know me and know like that I'm out here to be better. I'm not out here to mess around and just be out here in Nashville and get caught up in the bright lights. So, I mean, that was definitely another reason for me to come out here, is I know what TJ and George, how they work. I mean, they're the Iowa way, they're Iowa boys, so I know how they get down. So that definitely helped me in my decision to come out here.
So let's talk about Iowa. When you went to Iowa, what was your process of going to Iowa? I know you're from Iowa. Did you always want to go to Iowa? Was that like the big school, or was Iowa State like, and then just Iowa came in? How was that?
If I'm being honest, growing up, I wanted to play basketball.
Right.
Like my dad, he's from LA. He played at UCLA and then transferred to Drake, which is a college in Des Moines.
Mm-hmm.
He played basketball. My brother played basketball in college. So like growing up, I wanted to play basketball, but then my lane switched a little bit when I started playing varsity football, and I kind of got a love for football when it really, like, under them Friday night lights, my love for football changed. So then went the JUCO route, and essentially the choice between Iowa and Iowa State was, when I graduated, I want to say probably 60% of my graduating class went to Iowa State. So my decision was, I don't want to go to college with everyone I went to high school with. Like that'd be crazy. Like obviously we're gonna hang out anyway. But then that just came, was like the offer came, and I just didn't want to go back to Iowa Western because I just wasn't made for the JUCO life. And I know obviously we all know Iowa's a prestigious program. And on top of that, the school is really great for the fact that I wanted to be a physical therapist, and they have a really good medical program, really good PT program. I was like, yeah, not only can I play extremely good football team, I could actually get an extremely good education for something that I want to do, knowing that this school is top 5 in that program. So obviously when you grow up in Iowa, it is kind of a house divided situation. Like it is 50-50 between Iowa State and Iowa fans. So I know my mom and my uncle went to Iowa State. So I mean, I understand, like there's a lot of love for Iowa State, but I don't know, that just the black and gold just like, a little bit.
All right. So how was it? So you guys played Iowa State, like your mom and dad come to the game. Are they wearing Iowa State gear, but like on the back, like, hey, Dominique's my son type of deal?
Nah, they would come in the Iowa jersey with 23 and Dafney on the back. But
right.
My mom would, it's house divided. She would a little bit be cheering for Iowa State. But I mean, when I was there, we never lost to Iowa State, so she didn't have much to cheer for.
All right.
Yeah, no, they would come and support. The whole family would come when it would be the Iowa State weekends. They would all come to either Ames or to Iowa City that weekend and be loud and proud. So no, it was always a fun weekend of a little chirping.
Well, you always hear the stories about Barry Sanders, who went to Oklahoma State, but his dad was a big OU fan.
Yeah,
and would always kind of cheer for OU against Barry's. So you never know what to expect in the family. But I get the rivalries. I grew up in Alabama, so Alabama and Auburn, that's the big one in the state is Alabama-Auburn. So it's almost like you got to declare once you're born and you're able to talk, either I'm Auburn or you're Alabama. So I get the Iowa State, but that's funny though. People coming up and cheering.
It's definitely like you said, you grow up, you're born, you got to pick a side. There's no one or the other. You got to pick a side. It don't matter. There's always there are people who cheer for UNI because that's like the third. UNI is the third. UNI or Iowa State week. Like it's even in elementary school, they're like, come to school in your Iowa or Iowa State gear. It's from the bottom, from kindergarten all the way up. You pick a side. It's one or the other, black and gold or red and gold.
So where did your love for Iowa come from? Because you had Iowa State parents. So what attracted you to the Hawkeyes?
I think it was just the program, like in general, like just the prestigiousness, and just I love watching Iowa football. Like obviously the Iowa State game is always a big thing, but after the first time I ever watched that game and experienced that game, I kind of was like leaning going the other way. Like I had been to Iowa State games. My mom would obviously take me to Iowa State games. I don't know, something about the black and gold, like it attracted me, and it was calling my name. And when I got there, I was kind of hesitant and I wasn't really sure what was gonna come of it. But as soon as I got there, like I kind of just felt the love and felt the Iowa Hawkeye pride, I guess. And it's kind of stuck with me ever since.
So what was your biggest lesson that you learned in Iowa at the Hawkeyes?
I'd say my biggest lesson was probably just being persistent. I mean, obviously my career there didn't go exactly the way I wanted it to. Didn't really see much of the offensive field and didn't get to really produce much on that side. I found ways to be productive, and I found ways to get on the field and still have fun and still make plays. And even if I wasn't making plays on offense in the game, I was making plays on offense in practice. So just consistently showing up and consistently balling out on our defense, on our number one defense, and talking crazy to them, because they're obviously always Iowa Hawkeyes defense is known to be one of the best in the country. So that's always going to be a competition every day of practice. So just taking that and doing what I could do with it, taking it for what it was worth, getting the most out of it, and just showing up every day and just trying to compete in practice, and then wearing that black and gold on Saturdays and just trying to make plays and hear my number called. And there was this thing that our special teams coach, LeVar Woods, would do, which was like you get points, obviously, for like making tackles, blocking punts, all that. But there was one that I constantly won. It was like first in, which would be like kickoff. You get a point if you were the first one to cross the 30-yard line. And every single time it'd be first in Dafney. It was a consistent thing. It was starting to be like a running joke to a point where we would do like this Secret Santa thing for Iowa, and someone got me a beer glass, and it said first in Dafney with Coach Wood's face on it. I was like, it was just a running joke because every single time you would hear my name for the first in, because I'm sprinting down there trying to make a tackle, trying to disrupt returns and everything. So, I was just staying persistent. Things didn't go my way. Yeah, I got a little upset about it, like anybody would. Like, you want to play offense, you want to score touchdowns, you want to help your team win. And when it doesn't happen, you kind of beat yourself up a little bit. But I just used that and kind of just found ways to make my mark on special teams. It was just find a way to have fun with it and enjoy it, which is why you'd see us like racing down to the end zone and trying to be the first one in the end zone, or try to, like, if it's a touchback, try to be the first one to touch the guy or grab the ball. So it's just like we're just finding ways to compete and go out there and leave our mark on the field.
Right. No, I get that. Let me say this is the thing that you brought up is consistency. Consistency is the key to any success, because it's never going to be easy. It's never going to go exactly the way you like it. But when you get up in the morning, you put the right in front of the left, left in front of the right, and you keep going, and you keep that same level of consistency, that same work ethic, you eventually get to the breakthrough. So I think what you just said is consistency is being the key to any success, no matter what phase of life you're in.
Yeah.
So how is Kurt Ferentz? Kurt Ferentz has been there for 26 years.
Yeah.
Like, how has he been able to maintain the level of success that he's had over those 26 years? I mean, he's been fantastic as a head coach there.
Yeah.
Probably the longest tenured head coach in FBS ball. So how does he continue to maintain that level? What's his edge, or what's his greatness to maintain that level?
He's one of those Belichick guys. He comes from that same system. Same with Coach Saban. They run the program similarly, where there's a lot of responsibility. They have rules, they have regulations, and I mean they don't stem off of them. They know exactly how they want their program to look. They know exactly how they want their guys to play, the physicality. They know how to coach you up and be a professional. So that's the main thing, is he runs Iowa as if they were the Patriots. And I know we resembled the Patriots in a lot of ways, and he would actually throw up Coach Belichick quotes all the time in our Monday meetings before we start prep for the next week. So it's like he runs his team like a professional football team. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, but he puts a lot of hope, and he puts a lot of he shows you that he has your back, and I think that's one thing, is like he really does care. I think the one thing that always gets us hyped up is after games when KF starts to cry a little bit, because he's proud of his team, and he's proud of the fight that he has, that his team has, that his players show, and the grittiness that they show. I think that's just one thing he constantly pushes, is Iowa football is grimy. And, that's the players he looks for, is players that are dogs, that are going to fight until there's 3 zeros on the clock till the game is over. And I think that's really what makes Iowa, is the fact that you got a dogfight when you're at Kinnick, and when you see the black and gold swarm trotting into your stadium, you got a dogfight for 4 quarters, regardless of who's on the other side. And I think that's what makes Iowa so successful, is that they're not going to air raid you out, but you're gonna be in a dogfight for 4 quarters every single game. And when it gets to October, November, we would constantly talk about November football being really good for Iowa, because once you get to November, like, some teams are tired, some teams are fatigued, some teams are they didn't have the season that they wanted, so they're kind of giving up a little bit. But we would preach about November football being good for us, because we're still going to keep the same intensity and the same energy for all 4 quarters, all the way till November, December, January. And some teams will fold under pressure, and some teams will crumble when it gets to the 3rd quarter and it's 17-14, and they're exhausted because we ran the ball 22 times going into the fourth quarter, they're like, there's no way they can keep doing this. And yet they just keep doing it. That's just the Iowa way. They just keep getting up and keep punching you. And some teams just can't handle that.
Right. Yeah, you guys definitely make it physical. I mean, he runs the ball, play action. He does a good job of, the O-line does a great job of being disciplined, staying on their blocks, getting knocked back. I really appreciate the way Iowa plays football, to be honest with you. I mean, it's tough. It's old school. It's just, like you said, it's grimy. I really appreciate the way they play. And I appreciate the one thing they do is it's probably, to me, it's the best tradition in college football is when you guys wave to the Children's Hospital. Yeah. That is, to me, that is so special. It's just a great feeling as a human being that you guys do that. The whole stadium does that. That is really, the humanistic part about this game that I really appreciate you guys doing that.
We were already doing like so much work with the Children's Hospital anyway, having kids camps and having visits up to patients and seeing them and hanging out with them for 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour, just talking, hanging out, taking pictures, signing stuff, just trying to brighten their day when their situation isn't the greatest always. So it was more like it was overdue. So, like giving a shout out to those kids who their situation's unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is, but then us giving them just a little bit of a spotlight, knowing like, we got you guys. We love you guys. We're here for you. And like, you guys are with us while we're fighting. We know you guys are looking at us. We know we got eyes in the sky essentially from you guys. And it was just a way to just say thank you to them, to keep like, they're some of the biggest Hawkeye fans, those kids. So just kind of a way to give a little gratitude back for them to constantly be showing love for the Hawkeye football team.
Yeah. Anytime you want to put life in perspective, go visit some kids that are sick. Yeah. It'll change your perspective. No matter how you feel, no matter what you're doing, you go to a St. Jude's hospital or a children's hospital, anywhere in the country, it will change your perspective like no other.
Yeah.
Because kids, they're the most precious gift on the planet. And to see them fight, to see them struggle with whatever disease, whatever illness, it really does put life in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, they could be having the worst days of days, but as soon as they see that Iowa football jersey walk in the room, it's just ear to ear with a smile. And I mean, it is something that is really special, and we take for granted a lot, just being able to go home every night and go to bed and be healthy and wake up in the morning and not have to routinely have medicine given to us or be having 20 checkups a day. We take that stuff for granted. So, I mean, you see a young kid who should be, when you think about it, should be out at a playground or playing football somewhere with their friends. And unfortunately they have to be in a hospital room fighting for their lives sometimes. It's unfortunate. It's tough to think about, but it's when you see that even with them in that situation, that they can still muster up the energy to speak to us and to have us come see them and smile and want to joke or want to read a book or want to play a game. Like it is something that's special, and it kind of reminds you how like special this life is when you see someone who's down on their luck, but they're still willing to give you everything they got.
All right. No, I get that. That's so special, man. So what's next on the horizon for you?
For me, I'm just like we said, I'm still in Nashville just training. This will be year 5. Hoping to get, obviously, the average NFL career is 2-3 years. I'm hoping to just keep going. Had some calls. Hopefully we can get a workout here in a couple weeks or next week, however that works out, and just go from there. But I'm just staying ready, just doing the free agency game that we all know so well that it can literally pop off. What a lot of people don't know is you could literally pop off tomorrow. You could I can get a call in like 2 hours that I got to leave tomorrow. And I got to work out, or I leave tonight and I got to work out tomorrow. Like, just staying ready. And then on the other end, I got asked to do this Iowa football podcast. So I've been doing that. And we do Iowa football, but then we also do like a Big Ten overview of everybody. So I started doing that. I've been doing it for like 3 weeks now, almost a month. It's been fun, honestly, being on the other side and working on doing the prep work for that. It's the same as prepping for a game, studying film, studying teams and rosters and trying to learn rosters and positions and everything and schemes and stuff that they do well and that don't do well. So, I mean, it's pretty similar to getting ready for a game. But
Right.
it's been pretty fun, kind of understanding like what the other side looks like.
Yeah, well, cool. Let's our football. Like they had a big win versus Minnesota the other night. Looked really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, they scared me in the first half. I thought we were going to get an Iowa State performance where we just didn't come out to play. But that second half, Caleb Johnson is, in my opinion, he's one of the best running backs in the country. The numbers show, but then he's just such a consistent player and has all the attributes to be like an NFL running back. He has good balance, good vision. He's a glider is what I like to call him, like the Aaron Jones and the Saquon Barkleys of the world, where they don't look like they're running hard, but they're running away from you, and you're not going to catch them.
Yeah, with Caleb, you see the explosion though. When he gets in the open, you can see him kick into another gear. Like, and he's a physical back. I mean, he's a big physical back.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna translate well. Like he can catch the ball well. He's, like I said, he's got good vision. Of course, in the game nowadays, your running back's gonna have to be able to run routes and get open versus linebackers. So I feel like with his size and his frame, he's gonna be a monster when he gets to that next level. And he's been like he won that game for Iowa. Otherwise, the offense wasn't really doing much. I think our quarterback passed for like 60-something yards. So, I mean, it wasn't an air raid by any means, but he kind of put the team on his back. And, of course, the defense does what the defense always does. Cause turnovers and getting after the quarterback in the second half, keeping them from gaining momentum, from having them forcing them to punt. So, I mean, with Iowa, all you ever need is just an average offense because you know that defense is going to come to play. If you ever just have an average offense, they would be like the sky's the limit. I made a little bit of a assumption, I posed the question. I'm like, okay, what would Iowa look like if they had Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? Like, how dangerous of a team would that be? When you have good skill players, always have good tight ends, always got good running backs, and then your defense is like not allowing anybody to get anything.
Like, I feel like though, like those guys don't fit Iowa. They don't fit the makeup. And what I mean by that is when you have receivers, you have quarterbacks, you got to throw me the ball. I'm open. I'm always open. That never seems to fit with Iowa with me. Yeah. You know, Iowa's grimy, want to run the ball, want to get downhill. Offensive line wants to control the game. Like, so I don't see that fit for Iowa sometimes. Am I wrong? Am I off base?
I mean, sometimes I wish Iowa would step into the 21st century and get a little bit more mobile of a quarterback. Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. Yeah. But I was just posing the question because I'm like, think if our offense was even just average, if we could average like 150 through the air, maybe a touchdown a game through the air on top of what we already have, like that's a dangerous team.
Yeah, very, very well could be. But then, like, if you go air raid, you open up the defense to more explosive, being on the field more, things like that. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't fit, like this. You talked about earlier, Bill Belichick always talked about complementary football. That's what I see in Iowa is complementary football. All three phases playing the game today, not what we want to be. We don't have to score, 50 points and give up 45. We can win it. We can still win the game 10-7. That's like Iowa football.
Yeah.
But no, it would be nice for him to see him throw the ball and get,
just a little bit. It don't have to be 40 times a game, maybe 25 times a game throwing the ball. Just being able to get it more consistent. That's really what it is. Just more consistency. Because first game, there was 3 receiving touchdowns. There was 3 touchdowns in the air, and then we haven't had one since.
Right. So
it's like the consistency is what we're looking for from that standpoint, which I'm just like, I guess we technically had one in Troy. It was this little shovel pass. One, it was like 2 yards. So, I mean, I guess, but just a consistent basis is more what I'm getting at. Just, we know our running game is gonna do what they do. We're gonna pound the ball. We know our defense is gonna do what they do, get turnovers. It's the 17th season in a row they've had a pick 6, which is insane to think about. Of course, special teams, having good returners, having a great punter always, having great return teams, kickoff teams. that's their bread and butter. So if we could ever get any sort of consistency from the offense, Iowa would be just – I feel like they could finally get to that next tier of teams.
Let me ask you this. Is the offense better with the new offensive coordinator as opposed to Brian Ferentz, or is it's the same in your opinion?
In my opinion, I'd say it's better just because it's more – there's a little bit more trickeration is what I always heard. There's a little bit more emotions, a little bit more misdirection, which is good. You want to get the defense – they want to get their eyes in the wrong spots, reading the wrong keys. You want to get the D lineman to move. I know we always heard, like, as soon as you see the D lineman move, that's great because you get those big boys with their cleats out of the ground, and which is what you want. Like, they're known for getting off the ball. So as soon as you get them with their cleats off the ground or bumping this way or that way, like, for an offense, that's what you want. You want to have a little bit of motion to kind of mess things up. To have safeties and linebackers a little confused. If we're just running just straight down, they don't have much they have to decipher through. It's just easy read. I got one key to read. If he goes that way, I go that way. If he goes – when I get a little bit more movement, it messes up the defense a little bit more. So when I went to the game, I went to Iowa State game, and I saw the offense in the first half. I'm like, well, this is like more of a pro offense, what I see with movements, the shifts of tight ends, the jet motions. Even if it's not doing anything, it messes up a defense where they have to respond to that. You can't just let him run. You can't just shift and not respect it. So seeing all that, seeing a little bit of growth of that, it was honestly a good thing to finally see. I feel like it's long overdue.
Right. Well, it's good. I think they're going to have a good season. Yeah, obviously, when I say good season, I was always 9-3.
Yeah,
but I think they're going to take the next step and win the Big Ten. So, or at least get to the Big Ten championship. Yeah.
Well, shoot, we do that every year and then lose by 30.
No, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'm betting on the Hawkeyes this year.
Me too, man. I always am, but
yeah, you got blind loyalties, man.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm constantly. Even my friends here, Nashville's like a big SEC place where there's Ole Miss and Florida's and Alabama's and Tennessee's and Vanderbilt. So everyone's always, man, y'all don't know about nothing. This is SEC. I'm like, all right now, the Big Ten's a problem. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't sleep on the Big Ten. So of course, any Iowa game, anything, everyone even last week was like asking me, Dom, should I take Iowa this week? Should I take Iowa this week? And of course, I'm like, I'm gonna say yes every week. I don't really care who they're playing. I'm gonna say yes. And of course, they pulled it out. So everyone was looking at me like, bro, I appreciate it. You got me on that one.
Well, you can't talk about any other football than the SEC in the South. So just be careful down there.
Yeah, no, it's everywhere. It's crazy.
No, I grew up in Alabama, so I get it. Trust me, it's SEC all day long.
Crazy, yeah. I knew it was this sort of fandom, but I mean, when you're in it and you see the chants and the cheers and people, whole identity is Alabama. I see like floor mats that are Alabama, welcome mats Alabama or Kentucky or Van. I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all are serious.
It's very serious. It's diehard. Like it is completely diehard. Just be careful.
Yeah, no, I've only gotten in a couple of little shoulder bumps talking, but I'm a stand on Big Ten regardless.
You standing on business.
I'm standing on business for the Big Ten. I don't care what anybody says.
No, I'm with you, man. Hey, do what you do. Just be careful. That's all I'm telling you. All right, my man. Hey, I appreciate it, man. If there's anything I can do for you, hey, just holler at me. Let me know.
Will do. I appreciate it.
All right, big dog.
All right.